Up next is Matthew D. Groves, going to tell us about something I've never heard of, which is a password manager and saving money with it. All of my passwords are Corey's password. Don't break into my bank. Give it up. Oh, wait, no, this isn't Matthew Groves. Yes, it is. It's Matthew Groves. I didn't cross out Randy. I haven't been drinking. Okay, give it up for Matthew Groves.
Thank you, Corey. Thank you, CodeMash, for coming to Lightning Talks. I appreciate it. I recently saved a bunch of money by using a password manager. I'm going to tell you how I did that. So this is an email I got on a lazy summer lunchtime back in 2018. You may have seen this scam before, but this was relatively new, at least to me at the time. This spammy-looking email with that subject line there made it into my inbox. It did not get caught by my junk mail filter, so I was very intrigued. How did this obviously garbage subject make it into my inbox? And this is actually kind of an interesting part. I'm not going to talk about that very much, but the fact that it made it to my inbox was what got me looking into this. This is how the email went. I am aware this gobbledygook is your password, and you're wondering why you're getting this email. Yes, I am. Please go on. Well, I placed a malware on the certain video site. I censored it out there. This is a family-friendly conference. And I used RDP and a keylogger to collect all your information, your contacts and so on. And okay, I'm a little bit nervous about this. Maybe this hacker has totally owned me. He goes on, I created a double screen video. First part displays the video you were watching, and the second part is a recording of your webcam. You have a fine taste? I'm not sure how I should feel about that. But exactly what should you do? So now I'm thinking, all right, we'll cut to the chase. Where's the scam in this? Oh, here's the scam. It's extortion. I think $2,900 is a reasonable amount of money to keep our little secret. Please send some Bitcoin to this address here. That's not the real address, by the way. I'm looking in my Bitcoin wallet. I don't see anything there, so not really much I can do about this. So let's keep reading and see what the threat is here, how this plays out. And I've highlighted and underlined the totally awesome spelling mistakes because those are what leads me to think that this is just lies, deceptions, every day, more lies. And if you want proof, respond with yes. And I will give you proof by telling 10 of your contacts and sending them this video. That's not really giving me proof now, is it? So at that point, obviously, it's just this guy here, just goofing around. He's so elite. He has 3 hands and a banana to do his hacking with. So, we're all aware this is definitely a scam. But I want to break this down a little bit and kind of show you how I felt very, very confident in this, even if I wasn't a technologically minded person. So let's look at this very first part of the email. And this has got me the most worried because he's telling me this password, and that one kind of looks like one of my passwords. And I'll show you why in a second here. But why use that odd-looking string of characters and numbers when you could just use something on the top 10 list of the most common passwords that people use? And you're going to catch more fish that way, right? So that got me worried because maybe he actually did get my password somehow from some account that I have. And then the second part makes me more worried for the general public, the muggles, if you will. So he's using things like RDP and keylogger and unique pixel. And those things, we know that those are legitimate things that he probably didn't use. But if someone else was looking at this email and Googled these things, they'd say, oh yeah, keylogger is a real thing. Oh yeah, RDP is a real thing. So just in case someone ever asks you, comes up to you, you're a tech person at your company, and they say, hey, what's this whole thing with unique pixels? Just realize they might be worried about getting extorted here, so keep that in mind. All right, is this a password I use? And I really have no idea because I use something called a password manager, and I use LastPass, which generates passwords for me and saves my passwords so that I really have no idea what my passwords are at all. So I go to log into a site like Cydia.com here, for instance. It fills in the password for me. If one of you came on stage with a briefcase with $1 million and said, I will give this to you right now on the spot if you tell me what your Cydia.com password is without looking it up, I have to walk off the stage without that $1 million because I have no idea what it is. So with a few exceptions, I have no idea what my passwords are. But with LastPass, I can export them all into a CSV file. So I can do a quick find in that to see if this is a password that I actually have somewhere for one of my sites. And whoopsie, it is. So they got a legitimate password of mine from some sort of data breach somewhere. And I censored it out here because I want to be responsible about disclosing this. But it's not a adult entertainment site. It's not a bank or anything like that. It's actually a pop culture wiki. Let's say that. That's a safe thing to say there. But it is a site that has for sure had its password information compromised. Now, because I use a password manager, they discover this password. All they have access to is my pop culture wiki site, so they can see the wiki edits that I've made. I went in there, I changed my password, no big deal. But if I reuse the password like Corey does, they have access to my bank, my email, my healthcare information. So by using a password manager, it makes it easy for me to use a different password for every single site I go to. And therefore, I saved $2,900 in Bitcoin. So my call to action for you is, if you don't already, use a password manager. Here's a couple that I suggest: LastPass, 1Password. If you're extra paranoid, there are ways you can make your own and store it in a place that you deem safe enough. But please use one of these. And if you're already using one, please tell your family to use one of them. It's going to keep them from being exploited by scams like this. Thank you very much, CodeMesh. Appreciate it.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but I got $1 million in that briefcase you brought up because I knew my password. So these jokes write themselves. They actually do write themselves here on this paper.